I was marketing film projects for the major studios in Michigan for 12.5 years out of their agency locally that placed the broadcast ads, the print ads, and screened it for the critics, and did the radio promotions here on the radio, giveaways and all that, and tours when Drew Barrymore would come to town, I would be the one who would instead of the other guys. But yeah. But so now we deal with filmmakers on the front end. But when I went to Los Angeles for 9 years before coming back when the incentives passed, and I was recruited, and timing was working out where I could do that. I wasn't sure if it was going to be permanent. We weren't sure what was going to be going on. You know, the office. Janet Lockwood's been the commissioner for 17 years. It was a one-person shop. And then overnight it became 6, 7 people. What are we going to do? What are they going to do? Who do we need, and what are they going to do when they get here? I don't know, just get them here, get them a phone, get them a computer, and we wing it. So the thing I love about what I'm doing now and seeing here is the groundswell in the community of the artisans looking to make films and create content and stories that they want to tell, combined with the employment factor, because the legislation was created primarily as an economic event tool to stimulate the economy, diversify the economy, get some jobs going, creating a place for young people to stay in the state instead of fleeing, as when I left, I guess everyone followed after and just split. And I had no idea, but we're seeing it happen where a lot of people are staying, a lot of people almost left and did not. A lot of people are returning to the state because there's jobs here now in something that they really want to do. And I just get a kick out of it and love it, because that creative community such as this and festivals, go to whatever festival you can. If you've all got a short in your pocket that you've been working on and things like that, you'll meet cinematographers and DPs or other crew people that could, you know, help you make your project. And studios are scared to death because great stories can come from anywhere on a phone for 4 minutes. It'll be on YouTube. That will be the hottest thing in the world. Or a movie like Paranormal Activity for $15,000 and is one of their biggest grossers by, you know, like The Little Rascals, a bunch of people and their friends getting together making a project, and you take the industry by storm. So,
yeah, I was going to say, is there any difference in terms of your policies for like local filmmakers as opposed to people coming in from out of state? Or are there any additional incentives for local filmmakers in terms of how the process of application or things like that?
The program is designed for filmmakers in general. One of the criteria of the bill and the approval process is, would you have gone to another state if you don't get approved here? Because it's to encourage and incentivize new projects. But a lot of Michigan filmmakers have been approved. There's 4 main criteria. You know, will it create jobs for the project? Would it have gone to another state? Would it have the potential to encourage and promote tourism? And the background of the filmmakers. That's basically it. There might be one more, I forget, but I think that's it. So as a Michigan resident, or if you've got a project that's already ready to shoot, that was going to be in place or had been greenlit before or whatever, and everything was set to go, you know, you might run into, you need to go through the application really carefully and say, well, you know, to encourage you guys to get approved, we want Michigan filmmakers to get approved. We don't want to see anyone that doesn't deserve it to be denied. Say, yeah, I might be going to Georgia or something like that. And that's off the record. Did you guys want to give your background?
I was going to kind of address your question as well. In the Detroit Film Office, one of the criteria that we have is insurance. And when you are a small budget indie with, you know, a $500 budget, the insurance can be very expensive. And I believe that prevents a lot of filmmakers, it encourages a lot of underground filmmaking. And so we are working through that process in the film office to try to see what we can do as far as our criteria is based on budget and some other legal ramifications, so that filmmakers, when they come in, can actually file a permit and shoot above ground and not, you know, have to guerrilla shoot. So I don't know if that kind of answers your question. I know that many folks that call our office who are doing independence, you know, they have a camera and a tripod and they just want to shoot. We do whatever we can to assist them in that, you know, however the criteria is laid out and is mandated for applications across the board. But we are working, and we continue to work to make sure that independent filmmakers can have an opportunity in the city of Detroit.
Erica, what's your background?
My background is, wow. And I'll start from, in 2006, I was hired by the then mayor to work in the Office of Community Affairs. So I worked in community affairs for several years, and then I was promoted a couple times, and then took under my wing the Office of Special Events. And the Office of Special Events in the city of Detroit basically parallels the film office in that we do permitting and we do logistics for events that come into the city. And then one day someone said, "Oop, now you got the film office." And that's where, that's how I got the film office. But my background, I was a student at Wayne State, dance major. I received a dance scholarship from Wayne State University and danced in the dance department there, and danced all over the city, and then quite a few places around the country, and have done some theater work as well. So I'm a creative heart, and I mix that creativity with knowing city politics and city, city bureaucracy, and then that makes the film office. So it's a pleasure. It really gives me a pleasure to being from Detroit and being a creative spirit in Detroit, enabling folks to come in here and fulfill their creative energies and their creative passions in the city of Detroit. So when I see projects completed and I know that I had a part in that, it makes me feel really, really good. So I love my job. It's incredible, and Mike says that I work too much. But I think it's an incredible opportunity for the city of Detroit. The film office and the film incentive gives a lot of folks opportunities that they would not have had if the film incentive wasn't here. So it's a pleasure to be in the office, and we do whatever we can to make it happen.
Can you explain briefly, like, the process? You mentioned these 4 main categories that you guys have assessed applications from. If those 4 main categories are met, and like you said, the insurance stuff is there and the process in place, is it still a subjective process at that point? Or is it kind of saying, we have a 4, the 4th one is okay? Is it like, I guess, can you just explain, is it a panel of people that make the decision, one person that makes a decision on the green-lit process?
Commissioner is Janet Lockwood, and along with the Treasury Department, reviews it to make sure financing is there, because the application is not as simple as it was when it first started 2 years ago. So we want and require a lot of background information, not just saying I have, a credit card I'm going to finance it with for $1 million, $2 million. You have to prove that you have the $2 million, the financing in place. Fill out the background. The Treasury goes through IMDb on some of these cases to figure out who these people are. As you know, if you're in LA, everyone with a business card is a producer. So we have to vet, the wannabes from the never-wers and the real things to make sure no one comes in and sets up shop and stiffs people or leaves town and things like that. But it's basically the collaboration or the concurrence, basically, as stipulated in the law between Janet and the Treasury.
Mike, did you want to tell us what your background was?
Sure. I started at Wayne County about 14 months ago in December of '08. Previous to that, I was living in between New York and LA, but mainly New York, as a director, producer, and sometimes actor. And the job kind of came about because the incentives were passed in April, and I think at that point many of the local and county offices were sort of trying to figure out how to maximize exposure and effectiveness. I got a call and was not asked sort of to take on the job, but it was asked, what would you do with the job? And I just sort of really had an informal conversation, and I was about to move to LA, and the Wayne County executive called and said, well, why don't you take this on? And I was like, I'm not moving back to Michigan, no thanks. And then I moved back, and I love it.